Welcome to episode 10 of The Gun Show by Mama Bear Defense. We have a treat with us today. We have Pistol Packin Paula. I'm so excited. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for joining me today.
Oh, sure.
I have been wanting you on here for a while, actually.
Oh, wow.
So I'm so glad that we got this all figured out and going. This show is sponsored by Grayman Solutions. He is a holster company, Kydex, and comes up with different needs of holstering whatever you need for your holster. Not sure if he does the leather for your cowboy guns, but he could do one. Well, he could do Kydex. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
For your pistols. But yeah, so that's Grayman Solutions. You could get a discount. Mama Bear, MAMABEAR. All right, now we're just going to cover some brief news today because I really want to leave most of today's episode to getting to you and your questions. But feel free to chime in as I'm talking about what happened this week. So something that was really crazy this week was the ATF made a decision on the Honey Badger AR-15. Have you heard about this yet, Paula?
No, I have not.
Okay, so the ATF, I'll give you a little, there's a infographic somewhere. Okay, ATF is what decides what's legal and illegal. And this gun right here is considered a pistol, totally legal. You add something, a grip, a foregrip, it's still a pistol. You even add a bipod. This is still a pistol, still legal. You add another little grip, it's still legal. Then if you add this little bit of bending stock, now it's considered a short-barreled rifle and is illegal. And if you possess this without a stamp, you are a felon. So there was a workaround, and the workaround was this stock above here, which is technically an arm brace stock on a pistol. But back in 2012, the ATF said that you could brace your shoulder with the arm brace and it was still legal. Since then, this company, it's Q LLC, they made the Honey Badger, did the same thing as the pistol above here. But the ATF just decided, nope, this one down here, that's illegal. And that is all the millions of people that own this gun now are immediately felons.
Wow.
Yeah, the problem with that is there was no voting, there was no nothing. ATF just decided, there you go, you're all felons. And it's really showing how vulnerable our Second Amendment rights are. Yeah. That one organization can just decide what's happening. And I just think it's the biggest news that happened this week. And it's really frustrating that happened. If you watch the YouTube, you listeners, if you watch the YouTube video, you can see how similar these two guns are. The one above, the quote unquote arm brace, is legal. The one below is illegal. They look.
Why is it illegal?
Because it's a shoulder brace. It's a stock.
The other one is the same almost.
Yeah, the other one can be put on your shoulder and that's legal, but it was designed for an arm.
Okay.
So there you go. There's the ATF. Yeah, it's very, you would not be able to tell really the difference or why there's a distinguishing factor, but there you go. Wow. And then the last little bit of news that was exciting is concealed carry holders in America have now reached 19.98 million. So basically 20 million people in America are concealed carry holders.
And we're one of them.
Yes. Yes, we are two of them. No.
Two of them. Yes.
So that is awesome. I'm glad that people are rushing to get their concealed carry permits. we welcome you and are just really excited for all those new concealed carry holders. Woohoo! Good
Yes.
news. Okay, so that's it. That's the news for the week. Now we're going to get going to Paula. I want to give you guys a little bit of background about her. We're going to get more into her story, but Paula is a 2-time world champion gun twirler. And if that wasn't impressive enough, she is the only female to ever hold that title. And she did it twice. Freaking legit. Yeah, it's awesome. I love it. She has a book, and it's a kid's book too. And I like that. Those of us that have children, we're constantly looking for ways to educate our children about firearms and immerse them into the culture. And it's a fun little coloring book of an adventure. She can show it for those of you that are watching. And it's about her and her dog and two horses just having a little adventure, and the kids can color along. That's such a fun idea. She also has a movie, Paula and Pepper, and she's showing it for you guys on screen.
There we go.
And you can buy that. I actually watched some of it. It gives me Hallmark vibes, and I love it.
Yes.
Very like home family feel. Very awesome. And currently she travels around doing performing of her gun handling. So Paula, for those listening that don't know, what is fancy gun handling? What is gun twirling? What is this?
Well, gun twirling actually started back in the 50s when I believe Hollywood created gun twirling just to make it look fancy after they shoot a guy and they throw it back into the holster.
Hollywood? Not like the Annie Oakley stuff?
No, not like Annie. I believe that Annie Oakley was twirling guns back then. Sorry about the phone.
Happens.
And so Annie Oakley didn't twirl. She did a lot of. I was
wondering about that.
She did a lot more shooting. And I don't think they really twirled, my belief on it, back in the 1800s. These guns were expensive to them. And of course, the bullets were a little bit different than what we have today. So them spinning their guns and taking a chance of dropping them or, breaking them, they were more their protection. So I don't believe they were twirling back in the 1800s. That's my gut feeling on it. And then Annie Oakley, there really isn't any proof that she twirled guns. And she dealt with a rifle more often anyway. But I have not seen any proof. I even actually talked to her great niece, and she never mentioned anything about gun twirling either. So I don't think they were really twirling the guns. I think it's Hollywood that created all that just to make it look fancy and fun. Cool. So that's what gun twirling is. I mean, basically, it's, twirling the gun on your hand and tossing them around and throwing them over your shoulder and throwing them back into the holster. So it's just kind of a cool looking thing, after you shoot and then throw it back into the holster by twirling into it. So
now the fast draw, they did do that. That was definitely.
Yeah. And you don't twirl when you're fast draw either.
No. Pull it out, spin. Oh, no. Yeah. Defeats the purpose a little bit of the fast draw.
Like with SAS, and SAS is a single action shooting society. They cannot twirl their guns whatsoever. And I mean, of course, with just, concealed weapon license, I mean, you don't twirl your guns when it's loaded. And I never twirl my guns with live ammo. I twirl them with blanks because I got to shoot balloons and shoot things. But I never load my gun with real ammo. Any guns that I'm shooting out of, I do not interchain with.
So can you explain what a blank is and how can you still shoot something with a blank?
Well, the blank is, it's granule gunpowder. And so, it can hurt. I mean, it can still, which we've heard from movies, how accidentally in Hollywood where someone shot thinking that blanks don't hurt, but they do. They can blow an aluminum can up into pieces. But basically it's granule gunpowder, so when it shoots, the spread is probably about yay big. You still have to aim at the target. So that's kind of what I use. So I still have to be careful because I can't, I don't want to hurt myself. And they're
Hmm.
single action. So you can sit there and pull a trigger all day. Nothing's going to happen. You have to pull the hammer back before pulling that trigger.
So, I mean, it's still dangerous, but it's not like lethal to everyone around you. And
No, I
yeah.
mean, as long as everybody's at least, 15 feet away. And most people, when I'm shooting, I'm in arenas or something like that. So people are pretty good distance. So it wouldn't hurt them. But still, you still got to be safe. I don't point my gun at anybody. When I'm shooting, I make sure my targets are not near anybody in any way. So I still have safety precautions I have to do.
Definitely.
But it's still
So,
dangerous.
what's your story? Tell us a little bit of what got you into things.
Well,
How
I
did
got
you enter?
into gun twirling through being a stunt woman. Learn how to fall off buildings, get caught on fire, do horse stunts, car stunts, high falls, and thought I was going to Hollywood to be a stunt woman. But during my stunt school days, I saw the guys twirling the guns because it was kind of Western themed. I said, "Hey, I want to do that." And they said, "Nah, your hands are too small." So I had to prove them wrong. So I did. So, but now I've been twirling guns for 29 years, making a living out of it, and they're not. But um,
Oh, snap.
yes. So that's kind of how I got started, and didn't think anything of it when I first played around with it. Went to Hollywood and didn't work out the way I wanted to. Then I ended up in Arizona for about 16 years, and I was working at a theme park portraying Annie Oakley and Calamity Jane. So that's when I got guns back in my hands. Started twirling a little, and my boss kind of saw it and they go, "Hey, that's pretty good. If you can do two guns and create a show, we'll use it for like sundown cookouts or something for going on in the theme park." So I said, okay. So I just practice, 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 practice. And next thing I know, here I am twirling guns for 29 years and became a two-time world champion. And I'm shocked. I really am. I never thought I could make a living twirling guns. But
That's
here I am.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, the path you capitalized on what was given you and just
Yeah.
went for it.
Yeah.
That's
It
beautiful.
kind of works out perfectly because my real name is Paula. So Pistol Packin Paula just came about.
Right? Like license to carry.
Yeah.
Carry. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Mama Bear. Maybe not my name, but
Well, I mean, Mama Bear, I mean, you're a
I
mama.
got kids.
You got
Although
kids.
I did, name that because of my kids. But yeah, that's funny. I had a question while you were talking. Oh, World Championship. How does that what does that even entail?
Well,
How's the competition go? Like, yeah.
well, the competition, there was two different groups that I competed with. But basically, they give you some maneuvers. You got to do that certain maneuvers, and then they give you 5 minutes just to do whatever you want, free for all you want to say to music. They judge you on your costume, your personality, your stage presence, plus not dropping your gun. And so they kind of it all combined all together because and some people can twirl guns that may not be entertaining, but if you're more entertaining with it, then it helps
A
you.
performance,
Yeah,
showmanship,
yeah, show
showwomanship.
womanship. You get it.
What's the organization?
One was called Wild West Arts, which is no longer,
Doing
going.
it?
I think they're coming back, but I'm not sure. And then the other one was Wild West Performers, and they're not no longer running either. So
Which
it's tough business and tough to keep this kind of Wild West type stuff going. But we keep at it, and there's a few of us out there that keep on keeping it alive.
keep that's exactly what one of the questions I want to ask you. Is it a dying art?
In a way it is, but when people see it, they think it's cool and they want to kind of learn. And there's people, that said, "Oh, I saw that and I always wanted to learn, but I can never do it." So I'm shocked myself how people still love it, you know. Even parents that are against guns, and they love the show. And kids that are, they start seeing it, they don't understand it, but when they watch it, they're like, just crazy. And then it's really cool when parents come up to me and they have a 2-year-old or 3-year-old, because this is the first time I ever saw my 2 or 3-year-old just sit in one spot and watch you.
And be
So
fixed.
it makes me feel good. Yeah. Because a lot of times they're like running around, and they said that keeping their attention is pretty good.
That's amazing. I have a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 1-year-old. And if you can captivate them, you win all sorts of prizes, because I cannot. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So for the newbie, for the person who listens to this and gets inspired, what is your suggestion?
Get some fake guns like you have. Because you really don't want to twirl real guns in the beginning. Because in case you do drop them, and you don't want to break, between $600 to an $800 gun.
Yeah.
And just, play around with it. Takes a lot of practice. It took me probably 2 months to figure it out. And then probably
2 months of everyday practice.
I practice every day. I mean, I got, blisters on my fingers, and, I had to do my left hand too. So it took time. And of course, years of practicing and doing different stuff, where I am today. So I always say 2 months of figuring it out, and then 19 years of practicing. How
often do you still practice?
I do, to a point, if I'm trying something new, but a lot of it is I just warm up, and, this just comes naturally.
Muscle memory kicks in.
Yeah, memory kicks in. And, if you do too much, it does, sore up your fingers a little.
Fatigue you. I do know that. It fatigues you.
Yes.
So I have.
That means you're talking from experience. You've been practicing?
I have been.
Okay,
good. I have been. But I am just very, very basic level here. But I started with my Blackhawk, my Ruger Blackhawk. It was huge. And because I didn't have any of these yet, and I just made sure it was unloaded, and I sat on the edge, or I stood on the edge of my bed so that when I dropped it, it would bounce off of the mattress and come up. But I could only last like 5, maybe 10 minutes, because my index fingers got so tired and fatigued from trying that motion.
Well, yeah, those are big guns though. Now, how about these guns that you have right there?
Okay, I can do a little bit longer with this little replica, but it is still heavy. I want to master this art for sure. And I have had, this is another question for you. When I am twirling, my gun goes at an angle. Like, instead of straight, it's going at like this weird. Why is that happening?
Because your wrist is probably not straight. Your wrist should be really straight.
That's probably it.
Yeah. If you start going like, that's because maybe your arms getting tired. But a lot of people say, boy, you must have, your hand must hurt. And it's really not. My wrist is really stiff when I twirl. It's really my forearm and my biceps that are really doing all the work.
And the gun, so you're going like this, the gun is here?
Yeah, the gun is
on your middle knuckle?
Yeah. It's like in that meaty part. It's in the meaty part. Right here.
Because on this finger, I feel like this finger, I like have to straighten my finger out instead of do this.
Well, you have to curve it. You got to curve it like that. So it won't go off your finger.
Like I would.
So realistically, where the knuckle, where the meat part of your finger is, here, you bend your finger like that. See that part right there?
Yeah.
Right there. That's where your gun should be, is right in this part right in there.
I don't know if I could keep my fingers straight and have that curve. My left hand can do it, but look at my right hand. It's like
Yeah.
special.
And that's just working those muscles in your finger because they should be out like this. But when I twirl, my fingers are so small, I can curl these two fingers, my pinky and my ring finger in, and this finger goes out.
Oh my goodness. Maybe that's why I control my left better because I can actually do that. My right,
Yeah.
I
Are
can't
you
do it.
left-handed?
No, I'm right-handed, but I
Okay.
did do shot put in college.
Oh, okay.
And I did a lot of like that movement and my fingers needed to be really straight. This is
Right.
really random, but so I wonder if I ruined my fingers because
I don't think you ruined it. I just don't. I mean, you just need to start working with it.
Lessons learned. Oh my goodness. You're answering my fancy gun handling difficulties.
Yeah. So basically, you just gotta make sure that wrist is stiff when you twirl. Oopsie, I'm sorry. You gotta look at it in the mirror. So you're just basically this motion like this.
And I
So
gotta
so
get
you gotta
that
keep
in.
that wrist stiff.
Straight.
The only thing I can think of is when your gun starts wobbling is because your hand is probably going like kind of like this. You gotta keep it firm.
I'll send you a video when I get it down and you can claim credit for teaching me.
Yeah.
You have passed on the legacy, the inspiration.
Do you have holsters?
No, not yet.
Okay.
But I should get it.
But I tell people all the time when twirling is you're sitting in front of the TV, you just play with your gun and go back and forth.
Forward and back.
Forward and backwards. Catch it, forward, bring it back, catch it, and just go back and forth. And sometimes, do it all, I can't do it on the screen, but if I can do it, so that just spin it once. And just do that and then go back. And realistically, guns spinning is you really knowing your gun and feeling the weight of it and the structure of it.
Understanding that.
Yeah.
Momentum.
So just stand in front of the TV and play with it. Twirl it back and forth until you get, comfortable with it. And that will help you with your finger muscles.
Then I'll teach my little babies and we'll all just be little twirlers.
You're gonna need those little cap guns for that.
Yeah, they're little plastic. Can you twirl a plastic gun or does it have to be?
You can. I mean, for kids, you want a plastic gun. I've been twirling real guns all my life. I did twirl some fake guns and I just don't like the feeling of them. They're too light.
The weight isn't evenly distributed.
Yeah. I mean, it is in a way, but I'm just so used to a heavier gun. And it's like if I throw it on my shoulder, I know it. If I have a lighter gun, it's like, whoo, where'd it go? But you just get used to something for a while. It's just like, you shooting a gun. You feel comfortable with that gun and then switching to another one. It's, you just get used to it. But I've always felt comfortable with real guns because I guess because of the weight.
Yeah. That weight helps with the drop of it because it'll just drop. Whereas if it's a lighter gun, it doesn't have that.
Yeah.
That weight to get that momentum.
Right. The only reason why I had to get fake guns is I couldn't afford real ones at the time. You're talking about when I was younger. And then I do have.
That was me. I didn't want to drop $600.
Yeah.
Per gun.
Yeah.
And even with these are fake replicas, and I think I paid like almost $150.
Yeah.
For replicas. $70 or maybe it was like $50 each, so $100. But still, I was like, dang, for a hobby here, just like a fun thing.
Well, it's like I have fake ones too that I have to use like for schools or something like that. They don't want real guns, and or some places where they don't want a real gun, I can use my fake guns, so they where they can't shoot. But yeah, they are. And I actually, mine were a little.
And that's why I don't have a holster yet.
Yeah.
Because a leather holster, a double leather holster.
They can run I mean,
Ain't cheap.
the one I have right here, it's all fancy and stuff, was about almost $1,000.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
these guns themselves are about 1,000 a piece. I have two of them, but I didn't pay for them. They sponsored me. So I got
Yes, maybe I'll contact Cimarron once I'm better.
yeah.
You want to sponsor me? I had to get a hold of the Kansas City to approve me learning with replicas because
Really?
there was something with Topeka where they said you cannot have replicas that look real
Right.
without having an indicator.
Right.
So I had to contact the local authorities, and then they said, "What are you going to do with the replicas?" And I'm like, "I'm just going to spin them." And
Really?
yeah.
Wow. I mean, I can understand because they would do that for kids,
Mm-hmm.
with their cap guns or whatever, and you have to make sure they have an orange tip to it so they know. But I didn't realize that.
Yeah, you cannot have it in Topeka. And I'm in Wichita, so you can have it in Wichita. But I had to go through the big, like, this person then pushes me to the next person, to the next person, next person. They're all asking me, like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm going to spin them. Like,
And what did they say?
they were like, wait, what? I'm
Yeah.
like, like the Western. I'm going to spin them around. Just kind of funny because, yeah, it's not very common right
Oh,
now.
yeah. No, it's not probably in that state.
Way to preserve it. We'll make it a comeback, Paula.
Okay. Well, good. Well, good.
Make the gun trolling a comeback. I have had people livid with me, like straight up so angry that I am breaking the firearm safety rules
Right.
of not keeping my fingers straight, trigger
Okay.
discipline, because
Yeah.
you put your finger in, and then not pointing the gun in a safe direction.
Right.
So what have you had people comment on that? I'm sure. I mean, you've been doing it for a couple years.
Yeah, there's a couple. No, not
Which
really, because I'm an entertainer. And so, if I was working at a SAS thing, yes. I mean, people know who I am. I mean, people all over the world know who I am. So they know and trust me. But like I said, my guns are never loaded with real ammo at any time. So I really don't really have an issue like that
with people
with
getting
people. Yeah. I mean,
angry.
it'd be different if I'm twirling, some semi-automatic, but these are single action. So you have to pull the hammer back before you can pull it to go
Yeah.
off.
And
So
my response was ultimately, this is an art. It
yes,
is a trick. It is fun. It
yes,
is not a practical firearm skill. Like, I'm not going to be twirling my gun when a bad guy is coming through the door. I
right,
love tricks. I love juggling. I have an affinity towards fun tricks.
uh-huh,
And so I think of this like a trick, but it's also incorporating the gun world, which is something I also love. So my perspective was, this is an art and I don't think it should die. I think, yes, you acknowledge that it's breaking firearm safety rules, but you also acknowledge that these aren't real. And even if it's real, we triple check that it's unloaded.
right.
Can your blanks can't fire load it though, correct? Or can they?
No, I load my gun, but I always have it on. I only load 5. So I only have 5. It's hold 6. So I have the fire pin on a empty chamber at all times. But when I'm in my show, I can't. I'm just very careful, and I've been doing it for a while, so it's not like anybody that's going to get hurt. It's me, nobody else.
But you couldn't accidentally load a real, or those guns could not shoot real
No,
ammunition.
my guns can shoot live ammo.
Oh, they
They
can.
can, but I don't. My ammo doesn't come out of my safe.
Yeah.
I'm going to go shoot and do target shooting. But I don't even target shoot with these guns. Any of the guns I entertain with, I do not
You keep them separated.
separate from the guns that I shoot live ammo on.
Yeah.
Because one thing, you don't want to take a chance. Something may happen accidentally. Other thing is you're shooting different gunpowder. So the spiral inside the barrel, I mean, you can clean it, but if you have one speck in there, I mean, it can get dangerous. So that's why I don't shoot any of my live ammo out of my entertainment guns.
That's
So
another good thing to learn.
yes, so I'm pretty safety with it. I don't mix live with my blank.
With your performance.
Yeah,
These are your performance and your fun, your fancy gun handling.
Yes.
These are your
Yes.
Your live, which is why I wanted to get some replicas.
Right.
In addition, because my Blackhawk, I do actually shoot that, and I didn't want my kids to get confused with what's my real gun versus what's mom's fun gun. So I'm like, this is a toy, and it's a cool toy. And yeah, I might get into blanks eventually, but those will also stay, like you said, separate in its own little sphere of.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because usually when I do a show with kids, I always go over gun safety with them, and I always call them the three major rules, and I always ask them if they know them to make sure. Some kids do and some don't, and I always say, what's the first thing you do when you see a real gun? You don't touch it. The second thing you do is you run away from it, leave the area, and the third thing you do is you tell an adult. If your parents aren't around, you tell an adult that you trust. Let them take care of the situation. And because I say, because guns are, and they say, dangerous. So I do emphasize that, and I go over, the major rules, because there's a lot of rules out there. But I told those kids, if you know those three, you don't have to worry so much of the others. Because if you're not touching the gun, you're not going to hurt yourself.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
That's what I emphasize so much in my shows when I'm doing with a lot of kids. And I always tell them I respect my guns. I know how they work. And, so I try to emphasize that to them too. So
how did you get into the movie? How did that come about?
While I was being a stunt woman, my movie, Pistol Packin' Paula?
Yeah.
Oh, I came out with my book first, and when I came out, I wanted to do an animation show, but financially I just couldn't do it. And then of course I had my accident, and which is in the movie.
Oh,
I had an accident. I had a rollover accident back in 2008.
I didn't know that was like a real thing. Okay.
Oh, it was real. I broke my pelvis in 3 areas, broke 3 ribs, and bruised a lung. In the movie, I break my arm because they wanted to make it a little more dramatic, especially when I'm gun swelling.
Mm-hmm.
But it's dramatic when you break your pelvis in 3 areas.
Yeah, that's pretty dramatic. So what were you doing for those listening? How did the accident?
Oh, I hit a deer, and a deer got underneath my wheel, and it caused my truck to go off the road, which it spun and it rolled, and my dog was with me, Pepper, and Pepper ran off to get help because I know my dog too well. He would never leave my side. And basically, of course, nowadays there's not like Timmy in the well and Last Eagle Saves. We have cell phones now, so they get the ID off of it and they called it.
Wow.
So, yeah. So that's kind of how it all started. And when that accident happened, I was down for about 6 months. And that was just the same timing I was trying to get this show going. So financially, it hit me pretty hard. So that's kind of how I was trying to figure another way, an angle. And that's when I heard about somebody that did dog movies. And I had my dog Pepper, and I had a perfect story. Told them, they came out and visit me where I was working at in Chan Springs Ranch in Bernie, Texas. And they loved my story. They loved my dog. They loved the place. And they said, do you mind if we write a story? And I said, sure. So they wrote the story, and I read it, and I said, okay, let's go for it. That's how it all began.
And then you helped pick the actors and actress and
No, they actually did all that, but I was more behind scenes, making sure they were doing things right. Also being authentic, as in how they were doing certain stuff.
did the
I was,
actress learn how to
she
roll
learned,
or was it you?
no, it was, well, I doubled myself. So if you see the gun twirling without her face, it was me. She did pretty good. We only had like a week to practice, and she got the bull whipping down, and the gun twirling was kind of hard, but she pulled it off you know, what she had to do. And she did a little roping.
Little
So yes.
bull whip. What's
Little bull.
your favorite stunt
Favorite
you do?
stunts?
Mm-hmm. What's one
Probably,
that's really fun for you to do?
I like stage fighting,
Which entails
and punching and kicking and doing, you know, probably axe handles to uh, hitting a pan on, somebody's face, and that type of stuff. I mean, I like doing comedy type shows, and so we do stunt work through that. Me personally, when I was doing stunts, through stunt school and through the other place I was working at, I enjoyed doing high falls. I was scared of heights, and that cured me for that. And doing roof rolls, falling off the roof, hitting the ground and tuck and roll. But my favorite thing was, stage fighting.
That is fun. Falling off a roof and then just tuck and roll. I think now would be a good time to transition into showing your little demo here of some of the things you do.
Okay.
Just be fun. So enjoy watching yourself do these tricks. These tricks.
Yeah, this was in Arizona.
This was
in the background.
Huh?
This is Arizona. You can see the cactus in the background.
Oh yeah. There's the roof fall and the fighting. So with the horses, how did that come about? Have you always been into horse riding, or?
When I was a little kid, I always liked horses, but of course we couldn't afford a horse.
They're expensive.
They're expensive. I probably didn't have my first horse until I was probably about 27. But when we were going through stunt school, you learn how to ride horses and do horse falls and stuff like that. But I knew when I was becoming an entertainer that, adding a horse to your show makes it more exciting. And then when I started traveling around, like playing Annie Oakley and Wild West shows, I needed a horse to help, shooting off horseback and stuff like that. So I got that horse, and then I had another horse, Jake, which is the one you saw, who does most of the tricks. He's does about 20 tricks, but he's partially in retirement because he's now 22. And my other horse is 25, which is that paint that you saw. So my horses are getting up in age. So, but Jake is my goofball horse. He likes to do tricks. He likes to be center of attention. He bows and sits, and he drinks from a bottle. He so He does a lot of different stuff. So he's my baby boy, you would say.
Your baby boy. And then we were talking earlier, and Pepper
Pepper,
is no longer with us.
no longer with us. Yes, he was a Queensland healer, and I rescued him, and then he turned around and rescued me. We had a very special bond. He went everywhere I went, so it was a hard day when I had to make that decision.
Absolutely. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, so do you plan on getting another dog?
Well, I could not at this moment. I do have a dog. He's not as big as Pepper.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Paco. He's laying over in the corner. He's a little Chihuahua.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
a stunt Chihuahua.
Yeah, he's looks like he's black and white. A lot of kids say, "Oh, it's a cow." I said, "No, it's not a cow."
A baby tiny cow.
Yes. So.
Cute. Oh, that's.
But I don't know yet. I mean, it's kind of hard decision to make. So my horses are getting up in age, so there's a lot of vet bills I deal with. So financially, I just don't want to really get another dog at this point. So I do have a dog.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm happy with right now.
Yeah, financially, man, animals can get a little rough there.
Yeah, especially when they get older.
Yeah, especially when they get older.
Because things go wrong and they're not feeling well. I got to take them to vet, and so.
But they add nice aspect of life too.
Yes, they do. They do.
Real friends and daily companions, and then they add a great aspect to your show. Mm-hmm. So where's your performing? You're no longer in Arizona. Nope. Do you do private gigs, or how do people book you and so forth?
I do private gigs. I do birthday parties to corporate parties to private parties to festivals. Actually, I'm doing a little rodeo tomorrow night. So, I mean, of course, with what's been happening, I lost a lot of my gigs. So I'm not getting much for bookings right now.
Yeah.
Because of it. So anything with groups, you're entertaining groups, well, there you go. My job's gone.
Yeah.
So it's been kind of hard on that because can't do much. But there's, things are starting to kind of open up a little, but my corporate stuff probably won't start until next year.
And you are in Texas right now, correct?
Yes, I am in Texas. Blanco, Texas, which is right outside of San Antonio.
San Antonio.
It's north of San Antonio and west of Austin.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people are struggling with the weird times right now. That is just rough time for a lot of families, and hopefully things will get better, right?
Well, it's the good thing about you, though, being an instructor, you're probably a lot busier.
Oh, yeah. No. Yes. Everyone is buying guns right now, and they all need firearms training.
Yes.
We are loaded. Although a lot of people
Pun intended.
Yeah. A lot of people, they are buying the guns, and then they're buying ammo is so hard to find.
Yes.
That when they find their ammo, they don't want to train with it. So they're just holding this gun that they don't know how to use and this ammo, and they're not going to training classes. But I mean, they'll get their concealed carry.
Right.
In Utah, you don't have to take a shooting class. You don't take a shooting test for your concealed carry. You just sit through a 4-hour class and call it good. So those people, yeah, that's Utah.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't shoot?
Nope.
Wow.
I know. Utah.
That sounds kind of dangerous to me.
Yeah, no, you don't shoot. You don't shoot. And so a lot of people are getting their concealed carry in Utah. Maybe that's why the numbers are so high, 20 million.
Yeah.
Utah.
I don't even know how to load it.
They have to learn. You teach them dummy rounds, and they load it and whatnot. But they never fire a shot. And so we tried. we're trying to get them trained, but they're like, my box of ammo is precious.
Yes. Well, I'm telling you, one box
Shoot
is
it.
not going to do it if you need it.
Yeah.
You're going to need more than one box.
Yeah, it's a weird time right now. So we're
Yeah.
trying to convince people like, no, just you need to shoot to get
Yes.
that training in. But yeah, no, business has been good
Yeah.
in a crazy, crazy hectic way. So many people are like, I need this, especially in California. I've really been nice to hear the people that have never owned a gun, never wanted to own a gun, and then they see the chaos in their city and people are breaking in their neighborhoods and they're like, okay, I'm buying a gun. And I'm like, yes. Now you understand why the Second Amendment is important.
Yes.
Welcome. What gun do you conceal carry?
To be honest with you, at this point, I do not have a gun that I conceal. I have my 6-shooters and everything, and I have a shotgun, and I have a rifle, and I have a little Dillinger, and then I have like about, several different six shooters.
All
I
up in the
have-
cowboy guns.
yeah, more of the cowboy, but I have a shotgun, double barrel shotgun. So if anybody wants to try to get anything from me, there
It's
we
not
go.
going to end well.
No, it's not gonna end well. So that's what I have, and I have plenty of ammo for that.
So you don't carry daily. You don't.
I don't
put a gun
carry
in.
daily, no, but I do, my pepper spray and, but I just renewed my license and I'm waiting for it to come in the mail. So realistically, I can't really carry until I get that.
Texas is not constitutional carry.
I can carry these guns, yes. I mean, open, but I prefer to have my concealed weapon license just to play it safe.
And when you get your concealed carry permit, are you going to conceal carry another 6-shooter?
No, I'll probably get a gun at that point.
Get a
And I
handgun.
haven't decided yet which. I mean, when I did my course, I did a 9mm. And I liked it, but I'm not sure. I gotta do a little shopping.
Still a little more
Do you have any
research.
suggestions?
Oh yeah, girl. I'm all up in it. Okay. I will say I used to suggest, well, one of the guns I would suggest is an M&P Shield.
Okay.
Okay, I just did a handgun cleaner class, and that thing is a beast to take apart and put together. Like, it is so fickle, and yeah, no, so I'm not suggesting that one that much anymore. Everyone loves the Glocks. I'm not the hugest fan. I think they're okay. They're like the Honda Civic of the gun world.
Okay.
A Glock is. They're reliable. They're not a Cadillac. All right. That's my opinion.
Right.
If they feel good in your hand, go for it. My hands are also small. And so the way that the trigger guard, like this part, hits the angle, it slams into my knuckle and I hate it. So, but some people like that. SIG is a solid brand. I actually do my main carry, a SIG P938 with the rubber Hogue grip. So, baby alarm. So yeah, oh, man. But at this point, really, it's any gun you can find.
Yeah, no.
You're not going to get a lot of choices. Actually, maybe in Texas, you guys already had your guns, so maybe you won't have the shortage. But yeah, man, concealed carry guns. Taurus, huh?
Well, the guns that I have, this right here, and it's Cimarron. Cimarron sponsors me, for my shows.
Yeah.
And they're pretty ones, it has my name on it and the whole works. I know you probably can't see that, but so the time comes, I'll probably go to them and see. I mean, they deal with just Western, but they do have other guns besides Western.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I
didn't know
might
that.
go to them and see what they say, or I'll go to Carrie, and to their place. So
Let them try. Oh yeah, was it Buck and Doe's?
Buckindo's, yes.
Her
So
place.
I got to do, like I said, do a little shopping and see what feels comfortable in my hand.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing with concealed carry guns is you're trying to find the smallest gun that you still enjoy to shoot.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are like, oh, this gun is so tiny and it fits so nice. But then they go and shoot it and it's just jumping out of their hands because there's no weight to it for that recoil management.
Right.
So yeah, just that, figuring out the guns you like. SIG, solid brand, and you can like them. And Smith & Wesson, solid. Glock. Ugh, I'm not the biggest fan of Glocks.
Yeah.
There's lots of fanboys, fangirls out there with Glocks though, and they will. And we have lots of mama bear trainers that live for Glocks. So
Right.
too bad they're not on here. They can't defend the Glock honor. That's exciting. When you get it, let me know. I want to see which gun you pick and figure it out. Daily carry it's intense. I think I really like what License to Carry says about that is start at home, unloaded until you feel comfortable and you're like, okay, then just load the magazine, but don't rack the slides. So it's still unloaded. And then after a while, you can still at home feeling comfortable. And then you're like, I can go out into public and carry. How was the Texas test?
It was good. I mean, they basically go through what, 4 or 5 hours, I think. And then you answer all the questions at the end. So we go through slides and
Is there a shooting test for it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And do you bring your own gun or you shoot the gun they have?
No, we bring our own gun. So that's why I shot it. I borrowed a 9mm from somebody that I know.
That's impressive. You're like, hey, let me use your gun.
Yeah.
Not mine, but I'm sure I can pass the test. I got this.
Well, I did practice a little before.
Okay. I'm like, that's impressive.
I just went out the night before and messed around with it and just get used to it. And then when I was at home, with no bullets in it, just practice
dry fire
and playing with it and slide it and so it's,
oh, sorry, what? Okay.
No, it's just a little bit different than the 6-shooter when you get used to it.
Just a little different. I saw someone actually twirl a semi-auto.
Oh, really?
And I was like, that's like the whole point of twirling a single action is because it's safe, more safe.
Yeah.
Twirling a semi-auto is kind of silly, but I did see someone do that.
Oh, that's wrong.
There's a line, and that's the line.
Yes. Never, only twirl a single action. Don't twirl a double action. Nothing,
Keep it Western.
Right.
Keep it in the Western era. That's the biggest thing I learned today. I didn't realize that it was 1940s, 50s Western shows that started that.
Yeah, Hollywood created it.
Oh.
If they were doing it back then in the 1800s, I don't know. But my gut feeling is I don't think so.
I know they did it with lever action rifles. So they would pop the rifle out and back.
And where'd you see that one?
I watched a documentary and they said they did it.
Oh, okay. There we go.
But I don't know. Maybe it's how do they know for sure though? Sure. Right?
You're right.
Was it really documented? Because they said that's a practical move. On a horse and you're holding a rein, that's a practical.
You got to flip it up to,
a move. So they believed that was something.
But I mean, like I said, who knows or when they started twirling guns? There's no proof.
maybe that documentary is wrong. I mean, they haven't been doing it for 29 years, you said? Or 19?
Yeah, we're about 29.
29 years of gun twirling.
Yes.
That gun twirling life.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I am going to, how can they, if someone wants to book you or if they want to find you, I am going to pull
Go to
up
my website,
your website.
pistolpackinpaula.com. My email is basically the same thing. It's paula@pistolpackinpaula.com. Just remember, in packing, I do not spell it with a G. It's Packin. I'm packing guns, not luggage.
Packin. I'm going to pull it up
Packin.
here. And this is your website.
Right.
They can contact you. You also have a link if they want to watch a movie and get it from here.
Yeah, and about that movie, you get on Amazon Prime, and you can do it that way too.
Fabulous. And here's some fun videos.
If you go back down, you can see Pepper.
Pepper.
There's Pepper. Right. Well, there's me and Pepper, and then you go down.
And then the fake Pepper.
That's the Pepper that played Pepper. No, go down. Go up. I mean, up or down. I don't know which way it is. Right there. And that's a video. You can see him.
Paula Sletnick sets up some burlap bags before jumping off a second-story balcony. You know, just a typical day at the office.
You're just gonna go like this. Started off as a stunt woman. Learned how to fall off buildings, get caught on fire.
Let's see if we can find Pepper.
Yeah, look for it. He's at the end.
We are filming a movie called The Adventures of Pepper
that I've ever met.
And now that we've met Paula,
Bang! You like to ham it up sometimes.
but Pepper's most amazing trick was in 2008 when Paula says he saved her life.
I hit a deer, caused my truck to do a
And then we
180.
heard
It
that.
rolled. I broke my pelvis in 3 areas. He ran about 2 miles, made it to someone's backyard. They read the ID off his collar and called the phone. It was my cell phone. So I believe my dog was trying to get me help.
Help that allowed Paula to recover
That
from
was
her injury.
Pepper that was with him.
I didn't realize it was 2 miles. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, because
Oh.
I found that out because I finally met the people that found him, and I wanted to meet them because most people would just ignore the dog or, wouldn't care.
Yeah, and they saw the
Yeah,
collar.
Yeah, saw the collar and the ID on it and called the number.
Wow.
So
You were on America's Got Talent?
yes,
How was that experience?
it was fun. I mean, it was different. I didn't make it very far, but I did get a chance to cut a target out of Nick Cannon's mouth.
Which here's the
Yeah,
yeah, that's awesome.
he was shaking.
Really?
That was a music video I was in. I wasn't playing Pistol Packin Paula, but it's a music video. And then there's a lot of other stuff on YouTube that I don't have on there.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to see, they can look it up.
And even with Instagram, if you do hashtag Pistol Packin Paula.
And I don't, you believe it or not, I don't get into hashtag.
Well, it's on there.
Is it?
Because it's not a profile of you, but if other people have filmed your performances
Oh, okay.
and have done a tag, so you can see your performances on there.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's not people pretending to be you. They're
Oh.
just they're filming. They're like, oh my goodness, this girl's so awesome.
Oh,
And they
well, thank you.
tag you.
Yeah, I'm always so busy, so
Right?
I don't have time.
Got to get that hustle.
Yes.
So the last story, the armed citizen today, is a follow-up. Do you remember that man who shot the attacker in the church? So he was in church in Texas, is White Castle, something with a white in there.
Yeah.
And a guy came in with a cloak and a wig on, and he starts shooting people up in the church.
Yes.
Then a good citizen who was also a firearms instructor stood up, shot the guy in the head and got him down.
Mm-hmm.
It was the case, they deliberated the case, and it came out that Oh, little Chihuahua cow.
I didn't mean to interrupt the story, but he was trying to get up on my lap.
Yes, show me Chihuahua cow. So cute. It came out that he was justified, and so he's not facing any charges or anything, and he got away with it. So, which obviously should have, but you know, if you shoot someone, you're going to court no matter what.
Right.
And he was justified. So good on him, Trainer Wilson. And oh, I always forget until the end. If you're still listening to this, like, subscribe, write the comment, share, do all the good stuff so that you can listen to us some more and get to know us better. And we will see you next week.
Yeehaw! Bye.